What's up, guys? My name's Adam Gusky, and you're listening to the Mad Awareness Podcast. Today, we're joined by Anthony Ashnault, who was a four-time state champ in the state of New Jersey, undefeated four-time state champ, and a national champ for Rutgers. Today, we get into a couple different things. Something that really stuck out that I think will be really cool for people to hear is about his transition from high school to college. I mean, he was a four-time state champ, as I just said, and the transition to college sounds like it was a little bit rough, and I think this part of the podcast is relatable for almost anyone that's wrestled in college. So it's cool to hear that someone at such a high level, four-time state champ out of high school, experienced this. We also get into the Mobbin Media he's been doing on Rokfin lately, his plans for that, and a couple other questions at the end. By the way, guys, if you're looking for some good wrestling gear for your team or just for you as an individual, check out Constant Pressure. Their website is cp.clothing, but my man Cam Kramer works for them. So get in touch with him if you're interested in getting some dope wrestling gear. He'll hook you up. They sponsor guys like Seth Gross and Kyvan Gadsden. So check them out at cp.clothing. Otherwise, you can hit up Cam. I'm sure he'd love to help you out. With that being said, before the show starts, please make sure you're subscribed on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, whatever you're hearing this on or watching this on. But that's all I got for you, so let's get it rolling. All right, my man Anthony Ashnault, how are we doing today?
Doing well, man. I'm doing very well. I'm excited. Got some good things going on in my life. Some really good momentum on different things. I'm sure we'll get into them, but yeah, man, it's been a good Monday for me. Started my week off right. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, talking to a national champ, so it's a good day.
Yeah.
But why don't we just start by getting into what you've been into lately?
Yeah, man. Just like we're doing here with this podcast and your platform with this, the Mad Awareness, and we're talking a little bit off air. You're doing different things like with the meme page, kind of how you started. And for me, my passion's competing as an athlete in wrestling, as well as giving back and coaching in wrestling. And that's really what all these things I'm doing right now is stemming from. And what are we talking about? The recent things is I started a Mobbin Media page on Rokfin, and as well as on different social media platforms, kind of branding Mobbin Media to try to start incorporating more of the things I'm doing on a daily basis and just putting them out there. It's really not going to be that much more than I already do. Like, these are the things I've already been doing for 2 years since I graduated, but it's more just tying them into having a place where I could put that content out there, and also just being able to influence, like, the numbers. You can't even estimate. Like, it's the internet, it could be unlimited how many people we could influence in the wrestling world. And that's really special to me. And at the same time, I'm getting a little older in the sport of wrestling, and my main goal is to be an Olympic champ and being a world champion. And to do that, I feel I need to really cut out some of the things that maybe distract a lot of my focus towards that. And this Mobbin Media page, as much as it really gives me direction and focus to what I want to do as a wrestler, as a coach. And it really just makes me better in every aspect. Although it does take up some of the time that was free. I'm not a NCAA coach yet. I don't even run my own wrestling club. I'm able to just kind of pick when I want to do it and how often I want to do it. And with that is a lot of free time. So this is something I'm super passionate about that's filling that time up, and it's getting me better in every area, whether it's wrestling, coaching, being a person in general. And I'm getting to make a ton of connections like yourself. I talked to Zach this morning on the Stalemate show, and
Good stuff there too.
Yeah, and it's led to things like just connecting with different youth coaches across the country, and whether they're telling me our rankings are wrong or whatever it may be, that they want to talk about, it usually slowly turns into, hey, well, this is what we're doing with the page. I see your son's pretty good. Maybe he'd want to come out to this camp we got going on. And it's like, boom, you turn that negative into a positive real quick. And that's really the reason why we're doing those rankings in the first place, to get those best guys reaching out and trying to be a part of what we're doing.
I like it. Either way, like whether they love him or hate him, it gets people talking. So I'm totally on
Yeah,
board with you.
that's what I say as well. Either way, it gets people talking. But as an athlete still in the game, I like to keep the negative at a low if I could. But I have like kind of a dark persona with the mobbing thing already. You're always going to get haters when you play that line.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't sure like what you were like as a person based off of like the G Feller, like Bang 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 and
Right,
the 10
right.
or whatever. But I heard I like Bash Mania and I heard you on there, I think. And that was when I started to like understand who you were and what you're about. And it's like, oh, I respect this guy. Hard worker and, solid on the mat.
I appreciate that, man. And like I've said it a lot of times before, but like the things that happen on the mat, whether it's gunslinging or holding up 10, it's like those are things just coming through being passionate about what I do. And it's not like I hate G Feller or I hate Kolodzic. And Kolodzic is a great wrestler, great person. He's going to do some great things, whether it's in wrestling or life. Like we'll talk at practice and things. It's not like that at all, but it's just my passion for the sport, and I just let that shine. And I just let the paintbrush do its work.
I was gonna ask, like, do you kind of have like a relationship with Kolodzic because the Princeton Rutgers thing going on?
Yeah, definitely. Like I was training for that flow wrestling match. I had an injury. I had to back out, but like I would go into the different clubs we were training at during COVID, and me and Claudic are hitting it off about like different things that are going on in our life, different injuries we're dealing with. Like, hey, what'd you do for this? What did I do for this? Just like probably you reach out to our dude Zach, and you guys go back and forth about different things maybe going on your shows and suggestions. Like as a top tier athlete, the older I get, the more I realize like I need to expand my roots. Like it's like it's okay to learn even from guys in your own weight class. Like you could learn from everyone. You could learn from guys above you, below you. You could learn from the youth wrestlers I'm coaching even. And nothing for nothing, they're probably hitting their technique cleaner than I could hit it when they're getting taught it. These little kids are really good. And when it comes to Kolodzic, I know that I gear up when I have to wrestle him like he's a national champ contender kind of opponent. And I really respect that. I could learn from someone like that any day.
Yeah, I like him because he seems like a really nice guy. And then I heard somewhere that like he likes to listen to EDM when he wrestles, and I thought that was not like the route I thought it was going. I was like, oh, that's cool. I
Yeah.
respect that.
Yeah,
So
actually, me and my girlfriend, when we like first started dating, Rutgers and Princeton are kind of close, and Princeton's a beautiful town. So I was like, let's go to Princeton, like on a little date for the day. And like I was a sophomore in college, so like it's young, right when me and Kolodzic are starting our rivalry. And me and my girlfriend are walking around campus, and we go in this beautiful old building because Princeton's got a bunch of beautiful buildings. And first person we see on campus sitting alone, Matthew Kolodzic, and I'm just like we just talk like we're buddies. We're like, I was really nervous honestly because I was younger. I was probably 19, but it was like awesome because that was the start of like, yeah, we're gonna be competitors on the mat, but he's a good person. And we had a 10-15 minute conversation. He was taking a gray shirt year, they were calling it, so he was taking classes in county school at the time, and he was just giving me a little bit about what he was doing in life. I was giving him a little bit about what I was doing and who I was with, my girlfriend Valerie, and it was just two normal people that were having like that had this passion about wrestling, just hitting it off. And I don't think we ever would have thought that we would have wrestled in the semifinals at nationals and in these crazy matches throughout our career. But it's special about the sport of wrestling, man. It creates really good human beings, and it's more than just wrestling. It's not just the competitors you see on the mat.
So you mentioned training with him, and I'm curious, like, who have you been training with the most, or are you still kind of like rehabbing from the injury?
Yeah, I had a back injury that's why I had to pull out of that flow wrestling match back in July. And I was just kind of training through it, and I ended up getting a procedure right when I backed out of that match done to it. And it's supposed to be a shorter recovery, so um, I'm about at the point where I'm about to start the transition into working back into wrestling and drilling. I go to my doctor this Friday, so I'm excited. I feel really good. It's about go time in my mind, about like go time to start getting prepared again. And the main goal for me is April Olympic trials. Really, that's really the main focus. But I had have some really good opportunities before that I'm hoping I'll be ready to go compete. So it's kind of like a test try for that Olympic trials, and there's some really special events in the progress right now. We've seen a lot of them with Flow, with Fight TV, with UFC Fight Pass in the Cage, and with now Rokfin. But just very similar one to the 195 bracket. I think there's going to be a special one around guys my weight, and I'm looking to get my hand in that.
Okay, I like it. The teaser.
Yeah,
I'm excited for more of those kinds of brackets and to see how that one plays
yeah.
out. That's gonna be sick.
My ultimate goal would be to like be able to get that on my own page on Rokfin and get like Tyler Berger to come wrestle me on Mobbin Media live. Like that would be sick. And then like have like youth kids, 5 like stud youth matches before the lead up. Like that would be awesome. But I'll have to settle on going to other people's promotions for now.
Dude, you and Tyler Berger should just live stream that match. I'm sure he'd be down. That'd
Yeah,
be awesome.
yeah, yeah. That would be cool. Like even having the youth kids there at a clinic, and even if Tyler comes and teaches, and then having this special event, like it's not something like that's never been done before, really. And it's nothing like groundbreaking, but it would just be cool and show the kids, like, yeah, we want to be the best. We want to compete at events. Was like winning and losing isn't everything. Like, look, me and Berger are here teaching kids at the same clinic, and we're gonna go compete at the highest level, and we're gonna want to kick each other's butt in the moment when we're wrestling each other in that match. But like when it's before and when it's done and when it's shake hands, whoever wins wins, we're gonna move on. Maybe we're gonna want to get that guy back, whoever loses, but it is what it is. Yeah, we're there to get better.
Dude, I was thinking about that because so like with the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club card, it was pretty much just like bare bones wrestling, not really any production, but wrestling fans like it. Like they don't care that much. And dude, if you could literally just call up, one guy for you to wrestle, for other guys to just like come wherever you train and film it and put on Rockfin, I bet like there's some money there.
Yeah,
Sure you've been thinking
I
about
bet
it too.
I bet there is. I mean, I wish I was like prepared to be able to put it online right now, but I'm not. So it's just it makes sense though also to just build this thing right now slowly and organically. And we have a lot of great ideas, but we just want to do it the right way and authentically. Like we don't want to push anything, and we definitely and I definitely don't want to do anything that's like over my head and I'm not comfortable with. Like I want this, like I said in the beginning, to complement me being an Olympic champion. I don't want it to take away from those goals. So everything is going to be calculated, and it's going to be done the right way. And I have some help along the way, so that's good as well. I'm not trying to do it all myself, but it's been fun. I've been really excited every day to tell more people about it, to explain what we're doing, and I feel like that's a big part because there's times it sounds funny. I'm at the highest level of the sport, and it should be the most fun to be at the highest level, being a senior level athlete, having the chance to be an Olympian. But with that career that I have right now, it's like a lot of downtime. Like you're just going to practice maybe for 2 hours a day, and you got the rest of your calendar to fill up. So what are you doing with that time? Are you making yourself better, or are you just kind of sitting around all day? And for me, it's been kind of trial and error since graduating, since winning that NCAA title. Just what's going to make me the most happiest, what's going to make me the best wrestler, best person, and just keep me on this path, on this journey that I love, that I'm already on. And for me right now, it's not to jump into college coaching. That is what I want to do one day, but it's just not what I want to do right this second. Because even though like there is a lot of free time being a senior level athlete, being a college coach is a lot more demanding, and there's obligations that you can't really say no to with that, and there's trips that you might be taking with your team that you can't say no to. So I'm just not ready for that yet, but that is where I want to go. Maybe even be like the next head coach of Rutgers one day. That would be awesome.
For sure. You mentioned just like having a lot of free time being a senior level athlete. Like, what are your hobbies outside of wrestling?
In the last month, even 2 months, like this has been like this Mobbin Media page on Rokfin, and organizing my thoughts about what I want to do, what I want to post. And it was writing. Like I always journaled throughout my athletic career, and it was turning some of them journals maybe into real thoughts and articles and ideas. It was also starting to like I always loved coaching youth. That's one of my biggest hobbies, I'd say, is just giving back to youth wrestling and going to different clubs in New Jersey or different like private lessons I was giving kids in their houses or my house that I had mats in. And with that, I would film some of their practices or um, just film me drilling in the practices with them. And uh, I got a lot of technique from that. And in the moment, I was watching it at the time and giving back my feedback to those kids. But now it's starting the last month or two, like I've been going through those videos that are in my archive and just kind of clipping them up and seeing if I can make them just cleaner so I could put them on Rokfin. I could put them on the Instagram for Mobbin Media. That's really been my biggest hobbies in the last 6 months or in the last 2 years, really. That's a big part of my free time was giving back to the youth. A couple different families it started with. The Kenny brothers are younger family in the New Jersey wrestling scene, Paulie and Shawnee, and they have a cousin, Eddie Figueroa, Eddie Muscles, we call him. And those were like the first kids I started working with, and they're now like in fifth or sixth grade, and then Paulie's in seventh grade, and that led me to a whole connection of youth wrestling, and they're top tier. They're multiple time New Jersey state champs. They win a lot of national tournaments. So it led me to this circle of youth wrestling, and I really invested a lot of my time just getting to know some of these different groups, these different clubs, different coaches along the way, and just trying to give back. Because really, for me, I had so many different coaches, different people that helped me, and it wasn't just one person. It was different clubs, it was different high schools, it was different youth programs, it was different opponents that challenged me. It was a lot of different things. And I remember as a kid going to those kind of clinics and my dad letting me and allowing me and paying for me to go to different high level, senior level athletes that were giving clinics back in their hometowns, or Ken Chertow, different clinics where he was bringing different guys in. And my dad always gave me those opportunities, and not that he forced me ever. I was always asking for them. And, for me, as that athlete now, I want to go give these kids the best experience possible. I want to turn maybe the kid that was like about to quit the sport into falling in love with the sport. Not that I'm going to make everyone a world champ, but I just want everyone to like come to that day or whatever it may be. Maybe I'm coming once a week and really make a positive impact in that person or that kid's life. And that was really my goal of what I wanted to do when I started impacting the youth. And it really like carried on and showed me that I had a lot more passion for it. And like, it's going to be a tough decision, I think, when it's time to stop competing and choose whether to go to college coaching or maybe stay with the youth circuit. That's probably going to be a tough decision because I built so much of my network around it and I really enjoy it.
So you just dropped a lot on us, and I think there's like two things that really stuck out to me. One was it's pretty cool that like every guy at your level, even like I just wrestled in college, but even for me, like there's got to be like over 50 coaches that I've had that have like all helped shape me and like really left an impact. So it's cool to see how many people it takes to like grow a wrestler like you.
Yeah,
So
it's been a lot of people, and of course family as well, even people that aren't in the wrestling world. And uh, one thing we do really want to do with the Mobbin Media is just show like you don't have to be the best wrestler to be the best coach or to impact people's lives. And we want to show that through different ways that we have our kids drilling and different techniques that we use. But you know you don't always have to be the best coach to go then be the best wrestler, and with the most accolades then go be the best coach. And I think it's a big misconception in our sport because you see at the college level, it's all the most accomplished guys coaching. But in other sports, it's not like that. And I've been fortunate. I had a great career, but um, I've been touched and the most influenced by maybe coaches that didn't have the best wrestling careers, and it really means a lot to me. I want to carry that on to show the next generation of maybe kids my age, like give back to these youth guys. Like it doesn't matter if your career didn't end up how you maybe pictured it ending. Like there's more to this life, like you learn from your experiences and you pass those down, and you maybe help a kid not make that same mistake maybe you felt like you made, or wherever it may be. You impact that next generation, and we're creating a better society from that.
So that's cool, and that makes me think of like I think Bill Belichick. He didn't have like a great career, but I mean, obviously he's one of the best coaches ever. But
Yeah.
like you've obviously had a ton of success. So How, like, what made you think about the guys that didn't being great coaches, I guess? Because, like, for you, you're good, you know?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think just some of the coaches that touched me along the line, and I don't want to disrespect coaches, but like just like my dad, he wrestled 2 years in college, but he wasn't a starter. He wasn't an All American, and he's influenced me a whole heck of a lot. He taught me my whole base of my wrestling. I feel like until like I got to sixth, seventh grade, he really let me go and kind of I started learning from other people. But him and my brother were probably the most influential in my wrestling career. My brother was a great wrestler. He took second in high school states. He was the round of 12 in college for Rutgers, three-time NCAA Division I qualifier. But he's not an All-American. He's not a national champ. And I learned more from him probably than I learned from watching Cal Sanderson and John Smith, just because it's my brother and like it's blood and things that he tells me, even though maybe he didn't do or he didn't like implement into his own wrestling style, it's things that I trust because it's family, it's my brother. I feel like he wouldn't want to steer me in the wrong direction, but also because I was with him through his experience. And although he wasn't the most successful in every moment, when he lost in the round of 12, like I was crying, I think more than he was crying, because like I just saw the process of all the work he put in. And just because he didn't accomplish maybe that goal of wanting, like he had, of being All-American, like he acquired all the skills that I acquired through my college experience. And sometimes it's just a difference that's mental, that a wrestler can't translate those skills. It's not always physical. So, I take those experience and I learn from them. And I remember that match, like when my brother lost that round of 12 and I was really upset. I was just like, mentally, I made the decision, not wrestling, not physically. It was more mentally. I was like, I'm going to be in that position. I am not losing that match for my family, for Billy. I'm going to finish the legacy off. We're going to get an All-American. And then next thing you know, when I'm a freshman in college in my first year in the lineup, I'm wrestling in the round of 12 at the national tournament. And no doubt in my mind, I was thinking about that. And the best thing was my brother was the director of operations for Rutgers at the time. So he's back in the tunnel. So when I win that match, like we really got to have that moment where it's like, yo, we did it. We're an All-American. Like, and it is a we. It's not just me. It was a team effort of a bunch of different people, like we were talking about. But we did it, and it's a big part of why I came to Rutgers, for that we concept. To bring all of us together up to change a culture, to make something special in New Jersey, and that's all part of that as well.
That's a really cool story. I'm glad you shared that. But another thing you mentioned was like journaling throughout your career. It's cool that you did that because now you kind of documented like what you were feeling like when you're going through the struggle and the grind of the
Yeah.
season. But was there like so like I know some people journal like when they're having a bad day, they want to get all their thoughts on paper. Okay, that's just like me speaking, I guess. But
No,
like yeah. Did you
yeah,
have like a time when you would use like fall back on journaling? Or what did you use the tool as?
definitely. As I got later in my career and I started having injuries, this last surgical procedure was my fourth one. So it's like when I had that first surgery that put me out for a long period of time in wrestling, which was in 2017, that was probably like I went from like journaling once in a while about like the bad things and when times were bad, to like making it consistent and almost not only making the journaling routine, but just starting to implement a bunch of different routines into my life. And um, I think one thing was it was the most free time I had in a long time, just being a high level athlete, competing, training, school, and then having an injury where I'm out for 9 months. I had a lot of time to finally read and think and learn what I wanted to learn outside of the sport of wrestling, and start maybe sit back and be like, do I want to compete when I'm done with college? Do I want to coach? Do I want to do that? Do I want to do whatever? Do I want to go work in New York City? Do I want to travel the world? Or those were all thoughts that like when I first had that first injury where I was out in 2017 for 9 months, that I started daily journaling about not only my thoughts but my goals, how I was going to get there. And for me, it's always the most detailed that's possible. And it's like I was just starting to go through grad school at the time, and my grad program was super special. It was called Global Sports Business, and with it, they were bringing in a bunch of different professionals. Since we're close to New York City, they'd get people that work in New York City full time come be like an adjunct professor or come for a guest lecture. And we were learning all these great stories about really successful business people, athletes, media companies. And it, like, for me, was just spinning all these ideas where I could take Mobbin, because at that time, Mobbin was just a thing that was natural. Like, it was just growing naturally and authentically. And it wasn't something I planned about making a brand. So at this time, I'm starting to journal really consistently. I'm going to grad school, hearing all these great people come in and talk and give me great ideas about how to organize your life and how to get ahead in life. And it really just made me take off with all the ideas I wanted to do within my own wrestling. And with that, it just gave me the confidence. I think what I was missing all my college years to become a national champion was that just mental clarity of who I wanted to be as a wrestler, as a person, and like how I wanted to compete and how I was going to go about my business. Everything in college up to that point was kind of trial and error, test this for a couple months a week and see if it works, if I beat that guy that I lost to last year. And it was constant little adjustments until I finally got to the point where it was like, no, this is how it's going to be. This is how I'm going to wake up. This is what I'm going to do when I wake up. This is what I'm going to do before practice. This is what I'm going to do after practice. This is what I'm going to do for therapy. This is what I'm going to do for lifting. This is what I'm going to do for eating. This is who I'm going to talk to for sports psychology. It wasn't any longer like trying to fit the puzzle pieces together. It felt like the puzzle finally came together after I started going through some major injuries, which is funny because, you know, like, you're taken out of the sport and sometimes it takes maybe a punch to the face or getting knocked down to realize like what you want or what you want to do.
So, okay, I want to try and see if I can like kind of recap what you said. So like,
Sorry, bro.
no, there's just a lot of knowledge being dropped right now. I don't want people to miss it. But so you were just kind of like go, 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 and you were like changing things a little bit every now and then, but you were still go, 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 and then you kind of got injured and you had time to like reevaluate what you were doing and where you wanted to go with it. Like,
Yeah.
is that it?
That is it. And I could break it down hopefully simpler here. The reason I went to Rutgers is I wanted to change the culture. And I wanted to be a national champion for Rutgers. That way more people would want to come to Rutgers and more high school recruits would want to stay home in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, come and make Rutgers great and a top 5, top 10 school forever, a national championship team forever. And during that process, it was like when I got to school, it was like, all right, it's time to work. Maybe we didn't have the best facilities, the best coaches on paper, or the best workout partners on paper. But for me, it was about covering that up with hard work and just putting the time and putting my head down and like knowing that I just was going to outwork whoever was across in my weight class around the country. And I was willing to do whatever it took to make sure I got there. So that was part of like the go mentality. Like, let's do this thing at Rutgers. Like, we need to build this. We need to build this. Like, no stop, no retreat, no surrender kind of thing. And yeah, and then I was going through that and trying to, college isn't an easy transition in wrestling. I was a 4-time undefeated state champ. When I got into the room, I was losing to probably 25 out of 30 guys in the room. Like, I wasn't getting a takedown. So it's like, it was a transition in that manner too. And when it's go mentality and you get over those little humps by just making like little adjustments by trial and error, like I never really like had the time to just be like how I'm going to go about everything. It was just always natural to me. And I think it was natural to me because like when in my home life at home in high school, I got home from practice, dinner was set on the table. I wake up in the morning, dinner was set for school. Like, if I wanted to go to a wrestling club, my parents were paying for it. If I wanted to go to a tournament, my parents were paying for it. If I wanted some type of protein, my parents were paying for it. Like, all these things were like kind of micromanaged for me. And I never really had to do it on my own. So then I got put in college and I'm in this go mentality. And I didn't really realize that I had everyone else micromanaging everything else besides the hard work. Like, I was always putting in the hard work, but everything else was kind of taken care of for me. And it took maybe 3 to 4 years to figure out how to micromanage myself without my family.
That's an underrated point of just like going to school and doing anything in general. There's a lot of
Yeah.
things that you don't realize that like for me it was my mom was doing all this shit and she's not there anymore, so like you got to learn how to do the dishes and stuff. But
Right.
yeah. But all right. Well, I do want to touch one more time or once on your transition from high school to college? Because it sounds like it was pretty tough for you, but you still had a ton of success.
Yeah, so I was a four-time undefeated state champ in high school. I was top 10 pound for pound, like in my recruiting class, and I
That's
picked
crazy.
I picked Rutgers over Oklahoma State, Michigan, Penn State, and Oklahoma U. Those were my five visits. And the reason I did, like I said, like I wanted to create something special. And I'm not the first person that did that. There was guys before me, my brother's class, like Scotty Winston, Trevor Meldy, bunch of Mariel Mason, a lot of really good wrestlers started the trend before me. But I looked at it as an opportunity to make it even greater and turn it into like a top five team forever. And that's what I wanted to do. And I knew I kind of wanted to do coaching. So I was like, I could do this something special and it'll leave my legacy at Rutgers forever, allow me to maybe go back there and continue the legacy in a coaching way. But with that, when I first went to college, it was just a go, go, go. It's time to outwork all these schools that said they had all this history and they would have made me a national champ or Olympic champ. So it was time to put the work in when I got to school. And I put the work in as hard as I can, as hard as I could work, like in practice. But I was getting beat up. Like you probably know, man, you were a college wrestler. Like that transition is not easy. And I don't know if it was strength, if it was knowledge, or if it was confidence, but I was just getting super discouraged because I said no to all these top schools, and I'm at Rutgers and I'm losing in the room to almost everybody. And I was just like, what the heck is wrong with me? Like, is it because I came to Rutgers? I don't know. It was just so many thoughts, and I just was shutting it down with hard work. Like when practice was over, I go to the dining hall, go to my dorm, then I'd go back to the restroom maybe at 8 o'clock alone and do some cardio apparatus and stance of motion. And I was just constantly like getting let down in practice from my results and my I guess how I was wrestling in live or whatever it may be. And it was translating into matches. I lost to guys I never even heard of their name in open tournaments my redshirt year. And not that they weren't good wrestlers, but like these were guys that probably were the same class as me graduating, and like maybe I would have majored decision them in senior in high school, but now they're beating me in an open tournament in my first year of college. So um, I think part of it was all the pressure that I was thinking on myself. Like I need to make Rutgers great, and like I wasn't able to just let go of the ego when I was in practice and learn. Like it was always just holding it up real tight. Like I need to prove this to all the workout partners in the room. Like, and it was just a lot of anxiety, feeling like I had to prove everything to everybody instead of doing what I always loved doing and being passionate about what I love to do, which is wrestling. So I think it goes hand in hand with the answer I gave about just learning through my college experience. It was just really developing who I am as a person through that college, those first couple of years. And I don't think I would have been a national champ. It wasn't for some of those struggles. Like I didn't win a tournament till February, my freshman year and my redshirt year. But once I won that tournament, it was the National Collegiate Open. I guess my college career kind of took off from there. I went to universities, which is a big tournament. It's kind of like the U23 tournament now. And I beat Jason Surtis, who was the NCAA champ the year before. And I beat like 3 other All-Americans in the bracket. So like after I finally like got over my ego a little bit and made some of those humbling learning experience instead of disappointments. Like I think I was just looking at all these things that were happening to me as a freshman when I first got to school as disappointments. Losing in the room as a disappointment. Maybe getting ridden out for 10 minutes in practice as a disappointment. Instead of being a learning experience. Like, how am I going to get better? Am I going to grab a coach and ask him what I was doing wrong and have him teach me what I was doing? Or am I just going to put my head down, go to the dining hall, and then come back and run 4 miles because I'm mad at myself? Like you could do that, and doing that hard work is great, and pushing through is great. But there's times you need to learn and you need to get better and you need to grow in the sport. And I think I was doing a little bit too much of just like trying to do it all on my own and being disappointed in myself about not performing instead of just taking accountability. Hey, I'm not where I need to be yet. I'm not a national champion. I'm only a freshman in college. No one gives a shit about what I did in high school. No one cares that I was a state champ. Everybody's a state champ at this level. And it was just learning those things and being humbled for sure. Getting my butt whooped in practice helped, and kind of just dropping the ego a little bit.
It's cool to hear that you learned that because So I was a state qualifier in high school. You know, different than a four-time state champ, but I went to a Division III school and I just got my ass beat every day for like the first 2 months. And so I went to college. I don't think I've said this on the podcast, but I went to college for 5 years because I quit the first year after like 2 months because I couldn't handle it. And I guess I think a lot about like what I could have done differently to get through just like the ass beatings. And I think one thing is just kind of not trying to just like say every day like I'm gonna take everyone down. You know, just like work on really little
Right.
things, even like just like um, getting up to your base more often. You know, just like
Right.
breaking it down more. So it's cool to hear that you went through that
Dude,
kind of stuff.
it was the same exact thing. And it was going from thinking I'm gonna score like yeah, there at this point in my career, I'm back to the point probably where I was at a senior in high school where I mean not in practice. My practice mindset's different. I want to go learn, but when I'm in a match, like I'm expecting I'm gonna score 100 points to 0 on this guy. But in practice it took like the like you're saying, those beatings a little bit and those experiences were like, okay, coach is gonna teach me how to get off my belly on bottom. Don't get pissed off at him. He's right. I got ridden out for 10 minutes. Like you almost start getting mad because he's like, you're like, why are you teaching me that? Like, what am I gonna end up on my belly on bottom? Like there's different like things and then different things that maybe tick you off as a freshman in college, like while you're going through those struggles. But then now like you're our age looking back and you're like, I probably needed that. I probably needed those experiences to really realize like where the hell I was going.
Yeah, for sure. But those are all the more like deep questions I got for you. I just got a couple more quick ones. First one is, what's the best Italian food out there besides pizza?
Yo, pizza is great. Pizza is great. I'm just saying, if you're gonna go to a 4 or 5 star Italian restaurant, you're not gonna see pizza on the entree menu. That's not gonna be there. That's all I was saying. But
No, fair
you'll
enough.
see pizza. You'll see a pizza or a flatbread or on the appetizer maybe or on its own section. But I'd say my favorite Italian meal growing up as a kid was chicken frances, and as I got older, I like uh, bolognese sauce on my pasta a lot, like rigatoni bolognese or pappardelle bolognese, which is a type of noodle. Um, so
Explain what these are, because I have no idea what these are.
okay, okay. Well, chicken franchise, you know what it is, right? I hope
No idea.
chicken franchise is like lemon chicken, like a fancy
Okay.
way to say lemon chicken.
Oh,
Um,
okay. I think I've had that.
and then all right, so bolognese is like a meat is fancy way of saying meat sauce. Meat sauce. Pasta
Okay.
with meat sauce. Pappardelle bolognese. The pappardelle is a thin noodle, thin long noodle. Um, and it's like
Uh,
it's pretty heavy, so it like it collects the meat sauce nice and well, the bolognese sauce, and it's not like a twirl kind of pasta. You can twirl it like spaghetti, but you could also just kind of like fork it and stab it and pick it up as well.
so if I like after this podcast, if I ask my girlfriend, she'll make some bolognese. She'll know what I'm talking
Nah.
about.
First of all, I don't think she'll be able to make it right if she doesn't know what she's doing.
I
And
don't
if you
know.
tell her that, I don't think she's gonna get it right. You gotta say it's the bolognese.
Oh my god, dude. Bolognese. All right. I'm
Uh,
done. My grandma would be
and then
pissed at me.
usually with your pappardelle bolognese, you throw the regatta cheese right on top, like a little ball. Just boom, straight up little spoonful right on top.
I'll give you, you got a lot of street cred for the way you pronounce all this shit. So I respect that.
I just
But,
went extra on it because I had to make my mom proud. Her last name's Cassio. She's straight Italian.
okay. Good stuff. Um, all right. Top three dudes you'd want to wrestle right now.
I really do want to wrestle Tyler Berger just because I think it would be fun. I think we both have very similar mindsets and we work very hard. Both come up from like very similar youth like histories, just being dominant in our states and kind of being like icons in our state a little bit and going off to college and having a lot of success. And we both kind of know what it's going to take to promote an event right now during this COVID time. And especially with each other, we have a lot of that momentum going already. And I think people would want to see the match. It's also really cool because, like you said, with the McKenna match, it's like it's a match that's never going to happen at the trials, probably. I mean, maybe in the future if I go up to 70 kilograms again, but I'm walking around right now, like waking up in the morning 150, 151. And at night, I'm even only
Okay.
53, 53, 54. Like, I'm not even getting above 155 right now, which is like not hard for me to do. Like, if I wanted to, I really, like, I could. But like, I want to be the 65 kilogram Olympic champion, and I adjusted my body accordingly. Like, I'm not trying to like bump up just to have an all-star match, but like if he wants to wrestle at 155, like I'll suck it up a little bit and we can do the thing. But other than him, I want to wrestle. I guess if I had to limit it to two more, like I want to wrestle all the top 65 kilogram guys in America and prove that I could beat them and prove that like I'm also the guy. Like um, I'll go off in a tangent, but let me name these two guys first. I'd say Jordan Oliver because he's very well established, even though he's not the guy and he's never been like the number one guy in Team USA. He's got a great legacy internationally and in America, and he's a great technician, man. Like watching him wrestle compared to some of the other guys at 65 kilograms, like you just know he's special, and like beating someone like that and getting to compete against him would be awesome. I think it would be special. And also I just like I have a little like edge. I feel like when it's like me, when I hear I get to wrestle him, it's like something to really get up for and train really extra hard and live extra clean and like do all these things extra right because like it's exciting. You want to go perform. It's almost like the UFC athletes probably feel because one, they're getting paid a lot of money and the nerves and the excitement going into it, but also just like the hype of getting to compete against another world class athlete. I'd say him, and then I mean I want to beat Zane Rutherford really bad. I don't know what is it. I think it's because like the last two times he wrestled, he beat me.
Right, so for those of you guys listening, yesterday we were recording everything you heard up until now, and I got a message on my computer saying that my computer storage was full. So we are back today. I just deleted half the shit on my computer, and we're
Hey,
good to go. So we're gonna
you had a,
continue where we left off.
have you had that computer since high school?
I got this like right when I went to school, right when I went to college. So I've had it for like 5 years now. So
Same with mine, man. It's gonna be that's gonna be doing the same thing soon.
do you have a Mac?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, they're really nice, but they don't have that much storage, which kind of sucks. But
right.
anyways,
Yeah.
um,
Uh,
you got anything else?
no, bro. How's your day been, bro?
Dude, it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. I've
Yeah,
been
good,
looking forward to this, so, you know.
good.
How
Me
about
too,
you?
man. It's been good. It's been good. I've been doing just different things for the Mobbin Media page right now, just organizing it and getting set up and picking how many days a week we want to post different things or
Hmm.
whatever it may be. Just trying to get a schedule because I'm gonna start wrestling soon, and you know I'm not like perfect. I know I'm gonna shut down and not want to do what I'm doing now because I have a lot of free time right now. So I'm just trying to organize it now and spending most of my time doing that.
Yeah, I try and like listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff about like how to grow a podcast and media and that kind of stuff. And even today, like I was listening to one there, like the biggest thing is like don't try and do so much that you can't be consistent with it. Like consistency matters more than how often you're posting. So I
Definitely,
like that.
definitely.
But all right, to transition it back to the questions, the first one I got for you is who would you rather have to room with for an entire year of college? Caden Gefeller or Dylan Dennis?
Dylan Dennis. Yeah,
Like,
Dylan Dennis, because man, I don't really have any beef with him, and he's reached out to me and my buddy Scott Delvecchio. Actually, like we were probably like sophomores in college, and he like met he it was either like a comment on mine or Scott's or both of ours. He was like very young in his MMA career. He's like, yo, like whenever you guys got extra time, want to wrestle, like let's meet up, and like we'd go back and forth in DMs a couple times, and then it just never happened. But it's not we never had any beef. It's always been all love. We've been out at the Jersey Shore a couple times. I've seen him at a couple clubs out there. So I'd rather I think it'd be fun with Dennis. We'd have a good
yeah.
time.
At first, as like, big wrestling fan, I was just like, who is this guy? Like, I hate this guy. But then, like, this last year, especially, honestly, kind of since like all the Pat Downey stuff went down, you kind of realize like, sure, you can work hard and try and just be the best at your sport and be Jordan Burroughs and be perfect, but like if Jordan Burroughs was talking shit, he would still sell more matches, or he'd grow his brand more probably. So that was
Yeah.
really eye opening. I think Dylan Dennis does a great job at that.
Yeah, he does. And I mean, he stays relevant, man. He doesn't fight often and he's still relevant. And yeah, like who knows if he's really making that money, but when he shows it, it's like, damn, like maybe he's still doing well. Nice ass apartment, really beautiful girlfriend or girlfriends, like you don't know, but he's like living like damn Brazilian, it looks like.
Yeah. Yep. Instagram, not always real though. You never know. But
Yeah, I say that all
anyways,
the time.
yeah. But all right, best food in Jersey.
Best food in Jersey, my favorite, Italian. I think Italian. All food in Jersey is good. Like I'm going to a steakhouse Friday night with some friends, and just in my town, I live in like a pretty like downtown kind of place where there's like a little downtown, which main street, front street kind of thing, like almost like it would be like a college downtown. But within that downtown, there's really good Italian, there's really good sushi, there's really good steak, there's really good Chinese restaurant that's like fancy Thai. It's a mix of all cuisines, but for me, my favorite's Italian. That's what I grew up around, so I'd say Italian food's the best in Jersey.
All right. Next question is describe Nick Suriano in 3 words.
Tough, strong, champion.
Good stuff. Next one. This is the entire question. Just what is it about Jersey people?
What is it about Jersey people? It is that I guess we just have a certain swagger to us, like Jersey tough kind of thing, or I don't know. People say we don't take shit very well, so like, or we just give it back and people don't reciprocate it the way that we reciprocate it. Like what could be joking around for a Jersey person might be crossing the line for some other people, and I think we have a certain way we talk and come across, and um, whether it's dialect or your accent, or whatever people say it is, but there's just something about someone from Jersey or New York. Like I think it takes not like really less than 5 minutes for people to be like, oh, that dude's from Jersey. You're like, that dude's from New York. Like it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, because like, so growing up in Wisconsin, I didn't really know like what the Jersey like culture, whatever you want to call it is, but like now, ever since like you and Nick won nationals and a little bit before that, like it's been kind of creeping into the wrestling world. There's tons of good wrestlers that like I'm now realizing are from Jersey and have that vibe to them. But it's
Yeah,
interesting to
yeah.
see
Come
those
on, bro.
guys.
Jersey's been legendary. Your Wisconsin like college, is that your Division I team that you root for?
Yeah, UW
So
Madison.
like when you were growing up, like were you a fan of Donnie Pritzloff?
Yeah, yeah. He's
Jersey,
from
Jersey
yeah.
man,
All right, fair enough.
Jersey Hammer.
All right. I saw that little hammer you got in that other video. That's interesting.
Yeah, I was in
But
the Rutgers offices for that one. I should have took that. I want that thing.
all right. Which non-Rutgers Princeton current NCAA wrestler do you have the most respect for right now?
Non-Rutgers Princeton. Uh, I'm. That's a tough question. I'd say like maybe Ryan Deacon.
Okay. Did you guys wrestle a lot or I'm
No,
trying to
but
remember
I've
now?
been to Northwest. Like I'm very close friends with Sebastian Rivera. So even when he was at Northwestern, before he came to Rutgers, I would go out there for 5, 7 days at a time. I went, I think, 2 or 3 times while he was there, just training with him, Cody Brewer, Deacon. Um, but man, like that dude's strong. I never really like felt someone who overpowers me too often or like can just grab me and do what they want. I usually like even if a guy's bigger than me, I can hold my own. But like man, like it was like he wasn't doing anything special and he was still just able to do it. Like it was just that kind of strength. It reminded me a lot of Donnie Pritzloff.
Yeah, he's one of those guys like he looks super jacked, but a lot of times like it's the guys that don't even look totally jacked that are like really strong in wrestling terms, and that's crazy that he's both because he's also got great
Yeah,
technique. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he works really hard and lives the right lifestyle, and he's doing all the right things and putting himself around all the right people. You see him training with Gaethje like a month ago, 2 months ago before school. Like he's just doing everything he could be to get better. You got to respect those kind of kids. And like if I have to wrestle him down the line, like I'm gonna gear up for someone like him. You gear up a little bit harder when you know it's like someone like that.
Yeah. By the way, I was listening to an interview with John Jones. I think it was from a while ago, and he was saying that like before every big fight, he like had a ritual, not a ritual, but like something he thought he had to do, and that was like get blackout drunk like within the week before the fight. I just want
Yeah.
to know, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's funny that he like just publicly says that because like there's times in college where I wasn't an angel, and even in Division 1 season, um, there was times like you have hiccups and you make mistakes, and there was times I went out and looking back for me, like I wasn't the champ those years, and I lost big moments those times. So like as much as John Jones could say that, like me saying that, like it brings embarrassment because I know I blew it. Maybe I lost to Dean High in the semifinals because of like a moment that I screwed up in that kind of area, or other matches. Like there was always times when I didn't get the outcomes I wanted, that I could go back and find a lot of areas that I wasn't doing, maybe drilling hard enough or whatever. Maybe it was wrestling related, but I could always find things like and like I don't know. John Jones would go. He went on those fights. He would win, and he was the champion of the world. And he'd party, he'd fight, he'd win, and he's the champion of the world. So, I think that's like false confidence when that happens. He just maybe never learned, and that's why he's in the cycle that he's in probably.
Yeah, yeah, and in the interview he said something like he he was like, maybe I subconsciously did that so I'd have an excuse if I did end up losing the fight or something. And
Yeah,
I
I've
don't,
heard that interview a couple of times, bro. That's
yeah,
like, yeah, it's something as an athlete, I'm sure you could relate to. Like, you always have those moments where your brain like flicks to being like, well, like, I don't know if I should do this as hard as I possibly can because of whatever X, Y, and Z. Um, whether it's like stadiums or whether it's a live goal at the end of practice, like you always have, even the best guys that push the hardest and are the hardest guys in the room or hardest guys in the country, they still have those set thoughts. It's like maybe they just respond a lot faster and shut those thoughts down or change them up or whatever it may be. Like I think some of us just mentally could get over those moments, and some maybe struggle in those moments.
yeah, good stuff. Just thought that would be interesting to bring up. Did you
He's good. I love John Jones. Like
yeah,
I don't ever like want to stand for what he does, some of his actions, but as an athlete, like he's a great athlete. I love watching him. When he's fighting, I'm almost like rooting for him. I'm like, dude, this guy's like just does what he wants and he still wins, like best athlete in the world kind of thing.
yeah. What do you think about a match with Adesanya and Jones? Like, you think that would
I
be
think,
competitive?
yeah, you see, I saw Jones chirping at him today or yesterday or whenever after the fight. But just, I think Jones is another level. But you never know, man. Adesanya's looking really good. He's getting better each fight. Just Jones, I feel like might be a very similar fighter, just like 25 pounds bigger. Like, that's a big jump.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
exactly.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think they should try to do more fights like that. As a fan, that's like not a diehard, but I watch a lot. Like I want to see fights like that. Like let's make that happen. And he kind of went through the whole division now. Adesanya, like Whitaker's #1 contender, I think. He fought him like 3 fights ago. Um, Costas too. So it's like, who's he gonna fight? Canadier, and he might lose to Whitaker.
Yeah, yeah, that would be fun to watch for sure. But my last question for you is, what do you got to say to Tyler Berger?
I say let's get a match, bro. Let's get on. Let's get on one of these promotions and get ourselves some good competition. I'd like to wrestle in a cage, man. That'd be cool. It's almost like I just had that split thought though. Like you're saying, like, if I wrestle in a cage and I lose, it's like a little excuse. But like that'd be cool to wrestle in the cage and have that opportunity. I want to try to like implement some maybe different skills by using the cage than maybe you couldn't use in folk style or freestyle. Like as I got later in my career, even in college, like sometimes you just want to spice it up a little bit, like make it fun in practice, even like you're trying different things or making little games in your head to push yourself harder. And I think switching the game up a little bit with wrestling, like maybe it's like first to a lock in practice or first to touch the guy's foot, things like that. Like wrestling in a cage is almost like, it's like another sport in a way. It's like, it could be a whole nother game plan.
Good stuff. Yeah, hey, if you guys ever want to both come on the podcast, I'd love to moderate a nice, friendly debate with you guys. So just hit me up.
If we actually get a match, that's a good idea. We should do it if we get this match.
Good stuff. Well, do you have any last words for the people?
No, man, just follow me on social media platforms, follow Mobbin Media, and check out our Rokfin page that we just launched. And just trying to be the best version of me, win an Olympic title and world titles on the way, and give back to the wrestling community that helped shape me.
That's all I got for you guys. Shout out to Anthony for taking the time to do this interview. I think he was very candid and I liked what he had to say. Also, unfortunately, there's no fan of the week this week. I woke up very sad hoping there was a YouTube comment or an Apple Podcast review, and I didn't see any. So if you guys want to be the fan of the week and get a shout out on the podcast, leave a review or a comment on a YouTube video, or you can buy a shirt at tdpclothing.com. There's 5 different colors, and that's T as in takedown, D as in double A, and P as in person, clothing.com. Go check out a shirt. There's some of the very best shirts made by some of the finest people, and they come in some of the very best colors. But that's all I got for you, and have a great rest of your week. See ya!